Welcome back to the universe of power. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things within the Power universe. There were other things that took place last episode that were set up for us to have some major reveals in these final 3 episodes of the series. And in today's video, I will take a closer look into some of the moments that stood out last episode and also look further into EFFIE'S family history. And I would like to make something clear for some of the newer viewers of my channel that may be getting things mixed up. My theories and my predictions are 2 different things entirely. I normally give my predictions at the start of the season, and I give my theories based on what we see happen during the season. Now, back when the episode synopsis came out before season 4 premiered, there were a lot of people that were confident that Diana would be taken out this season based off of the episode 7 synopsis. But those of you who have been tuning into my channel for quite some time now, remember when I originally predicted that Diana would be pregnant with Tariq's child. And I predicted that the episode 7 synopsis was referring to Diana losing the baby. Well, fast forward to current time, and that is exactly what happened. In the last episode, we learned that Diana lost the baby after the attack from the woman on Carter's team, Felicia. Well, this led to Diana having her mind set on taking out Felicia. And she did exactly that. We saw Diana follow Felicia home and take her out. This moment really reminded me of when Tariq took out Ray back in the OG Power series. When you really think about it, Diana is basically a female version of Tariq. We saw Tariq and Diana embrace each other after the moment they shared with Felicia's son. They both shared a bond over dealing with similar situations, with them both having killed cops. In my opinion, Tariq and Diana's relationship will grow stronger after the loss of their baby. And some of you may have forgotten the fact that Ghost and Tasha also lost a baby before they had Tariq, Raina, and Yaz. I can't remember which episode or season from the OG Power series where this was mentioned, but I definitely recall Ghost and Tasha bringing up how they lost a child before birth. Moving on, we saw Rashad Tate get the news of the death of his brother Kamal from Carter. Now, when Tate first got the news, it was obvious that he wasn't buying into what Carter was telling him. We could see from his facial expressions. But later on in the episode, Carter came up with a plan to take out the Russians and frame them for the death of Kamal. We then saw Carter give an update to Tate and tell him that they took out the Russians who killed his brother. Now, some of you may think that Tate believed what Carter was telling him about the Russians, but for some reason I get the idea that Rashad Tate was putting on an act. I think we haven't seen the last of him, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tate starts to do his own research as to why his brother originally joined Detective Carter and his team. And once Tate learns that their original focus was on Tariq, this could lead to Tate questioning Tariq about Kamal visiting him at Stansfield, and Tariq could give Tate a rundown of what's currently going on with Carter. I still believe that Rashad Tate is the key to taking the power away from Detective Carter. Next up, we saw Kane question Effie about the cops who stole Noma's product, and Kane needed her to hack into the police department database.
So what you think? Was it one of the Russians that snitched or what?
Beneem's people?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Okay, then who?
How the fuck am I supposed to know who tipped the police? There could be record in the NYPD database, but I doubt there's a name.
This led to them going to Braden for help. Effie agreed to give up course correct in exchange for Braden's help. Their plan was very strategic in my opinion, with them showing up to a cop's house pretending to have been attacked, while Effie hacked into the officer's database, where they learned about Carter and his team. On a side note, one thing that you probably didn't notice about this scene was the fact that they were actually at Nico's house, the officer on Carter's team. But there has been one common theme with Effie ever since we were first introduced to her character. No one ever seems to question how exactly Effie was able to afford attending Choate and Stansfield. There's no way that Effie was able to afford paying for these prestigious schools all with drug money. And from what we have learned about Effie already, she never had a rich or wealthy background. And no one seems to question how exactly did Effie get into being a hacker in the first place. Of course, we already know that Effie is majoring in robotics, but that really has nothing to do with hacking. One thing that stood out for me last episode was how Effie was able to navigate through the police database so easily after hacking into it. It doesn't matter how good of a hacker someone is, it's virtually impossible for someone to hack into a police database without having login credentials. Now, a year ago, I came up with a theory of Effie working as a narc or informant. Since then, it has seemed more or less likely that this could be the case. But after last episode, I'm starting to question whether or not Effie may have once worked with some type of secret agency as a hacker. But I still wouldn't completely rule out Effie having some type of ties with the feds. In the scene from episode 6 where the officer from Carter's team busts Effie during the raid at the Russian's bar, if you notice, the officer referred to Effie as baby girl. Now, this could be nothing, but for some reason it just seemed like that officer was already familiar with Effie. And for the people that want to bring up the Lauren situation, let me point out how Lauren only remembered Effie knocking her out. Everything else that supposedly happened was told to her by Jenny Sullivan. At the time, no one even seemed to question why Jenny kept deflecting from Effie when Lauren kept telling her that Effie did it. I see that situation between Lauren and Effie a lot differently than most people do. In my opinion, Effie's whole intention was to save Lauren and Braden from Kane. And I believe that Effie may have contacted Jenny Sullivan after she knocked Lauren unconscious so that someone could immediately retrieve Lauren out of the water. That flashback was from the perspective of what Jenny told Lauren about what happened. Lauren was unconscious when Effie pushed the car into the water. And the witness only saw Effie pushing Lauren into the lake. He didn't see everything that took place prior to that. This is why I still believe that there's a possibility that Effie has some kind of ties to law enforcement. Maybe she's not an undercover cop, but she definitely may have been working with one at some point in time. Nobody finds it odd that Obi couldn't find any information on her, but he was able to find information on everyone else. This could have meant one or two things. Either Effie Morales isn't her actual legal name, or her files are somewhat sealed. Then you'd have to ask, why would her records be sealed? From what we already know, her mother is a drunk that married a man who assaulted her repeatedly, while her brother was a dealer who was killed in a robbery gone wrong, and her father wasn't in her life at all. So why would there not be any records on her background? Which leads me to my next point. Who exactly could be Effie's mother? We know that her mother has to be either black or Hispanic since her last name is Morales. And with the show finally mentioning Effie's mother last episode, I believe that we may finally see Effie's mother make an appearance in episode 8. Now, I don't buy into the theory of Kanan being Effie's father, since Effie is around the same age as Tariq. But there is one particular person that recently surfaced in episode 6 that caught my attention that could possibly be Effie's mother. In episode 6, when Carter and his team raided Monet's home, there was a woman that handled Drew during the raid. In my opinion, she resembles Effie, and I think that Effie's mother being a cop would explain everything. Like how Effie was able to switch schools so quickly in the middle of a semester, and why Effie moves like a police officer. It would also explain why the detective on Carter's team referred to her as baby girl. It's possible that Effie was originally placed at Choate under a fake name with a fake background story by her mother to investigate dealing on campus. This would explain why Carter was so focused on Tariq in the first few episodes this season. It's only a theory, but I could actually see this happening. And if this woman on Carter's team starts to become more involved next episode, I think that her being Effie's mother could become very much a reality. For those of you that have been watching Power since the very beginning, you know that the show has a pattern with characters that have been around for a while that want to get out of the game. Whenever they start giving us more information on certain characters' background that we never knew before, that normally means that death is soon to follow. Take Dre as a prime example in Season 6 in the OG Power series. This is why I think the signs are there for Effie to get taken out before the finale, and possibly even due to Noma finding out that her mother is a cop. Lastly, I think that Tariq will find a way to expose Carter within these next few episodes, but I also think that the video footage of Tariq taking out Zion will come back into play at some point. And as far as Kane is concerned, I think that he put the second phase of his plan for Noma in place by convincing her to get married so that Noma could gain her citizenship. It seems like Kane's real motive is to legally get married to Noma so that he can take her out and gain full control over everything that she owns, including her organization. I'm curious to see whether or not Kane will be successful with pulling it off. And I believe that if Davis McLean continues to get in Kane's way, we could see Kane take him out. But another major factor that could disrupt Kane's plans could be Noma's brother coming to America to take over Noma's operation. I have seen some people saying that Damon Idris from Snowfall would be the perfect person to play Noma's brother, and I could see that happening. But I also think that Idris Elba would also be a great choice. How do you see things playing out with Effie? Will she survive? Have we seen the last of Rashad Tate? Or will he come back for vengeance? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things within the Power Universe. See you all next time in the Universe of Power.